It was past midnight when Jake saw her, barefoot, mascara running down her face, stumbling on the side of the road. Cars rushed past, horns blaring, but no one stopped. She looked broken, lost, and more than a little drunk. Jake should have just kept driving. He had his little girl asleep in the back seat and enough troubles of his own. But something in him, a quiet voice that refused to die, told him to stop. That choice changed everything. Hey friends, before we dive in, if stories about real human kindness and second chances speak to your heart, make sure to subscribe to Truth Lines USA, hit that like button, and drop a comment below telling us what kindness means to you. Every story we share here is a little reminder that good still lives among us. Jake Turner wasn't a man who had much left to give. He worked long nights as a mechanic in a small town outside Denver, patching up cars just to keep the lights on and food on the table for his 7-year-old daughter, Lucy. His wife had passed 3 years earlier, leaving behind a hole no amount of work could fill. Still, Jake did his best. Every morning, he packed Lucy's lunch, kissed her forehead, and promised her things would get better, though he barely believed it himself. That night, the rain was pouring hard. Jake was on his way back from a late shift. Lucy fast asleep in the back seat, her little stuffed bunny tucked under her arm. The road was quiet except for the wipers dragging across the windshield. That's when he saw her standing near the guardrail, drenched and shivering. At first, he thought she was just waiting for a ride. But then she stumbled into the road, waving her arms like she was trying to stop someone. Jake slammed on the brakes, his heart jumping to his throat. The woman nearly collapsed in front of his truck. "Hey, you okay?" Hiled, stepping out into the rain. She looked up, her eyes glassy and unfocused. "Just leave me alone," she slurred. Jake could smell the alcohol even through the rain. Her designer dress was soaked, her makeup smeared. It was clear she'd been crying for a long time. He didn't know who she was, but she looked completely out of place, like someone who belonged in a glass office tower, not the side of a country road. "I'm not leaving you here," he said firmly. "You'll get hit or worse. Come on, let's get you out of the rain." She resisted at first, muttering something about him being an idiot that she didn't need saving. But when she saw Lucy's small face pressed against the back window, curiosity, or maybe embarrassment, softened her. Jake helped her into the passenger seat, handed her his jacket, and started the engine. She was silent for a few miles, except for the occasional sniffle. "Where do you live?" he asked gently. She mumbled an address on the nicer side of town, one Jake had never had reason to visit. When they arrived, her house was massive, gated, modern, and spotless, even through the rain. Jake got out to help her up the steps, but she turned to him with a bitter laugh. "Just walk away, idiot," she said harshly. "People like you always want something." "Well, I've got nothing left to give." Jake froze, stunned by her words, but he didn't respond. He simply nodded, helped her steady herself, and said softly, "Then maybe someone's finally doing something for you without wanting anything back." He walked her to the door, made sure she had her keys, and then left. He didn't even know her name. The next morning, Jake was back at work, covered in grease, and half awake on bad coffee. When a black SUV pulled up to the shop, out stepped the same woman, this time sober, composed, and wearing a sharp gray suit. Her eyes, though, carried a weight of shame and confusion. "Jake Turner?" she asked. He blinked, wiping his hands on a rag. Yeah? Can I help you, ma'am?" She hesitated, then extended her hand. "My name's Rebecca Lang. I owe you an apology and a thank you." Jake smiled awkwardly. "You don't tell me anything. You just had a rough night." Rebecca shook her head. "No, you didn't get it. You could have left Met here. You didn't even know who I was." Jake shrugged. Didn't matter. That hit her harder than he realized. Rebecca Lang wasn't just anyone. She was the CEO of a major tech firm known in local news for her icy confidence and billion-dollar deals. But lately, she'd been going through a storm of her own. Divorce, lawsuits, betrayal from her closest partners. That night, she'd driven off with a bottle of whiskey, thinking maybe a world wouldn't miss her if she didn't come back. And a stranger, a tired single dad with calloused hands, had been the one to stop. Over the next few weeks, Rebecca couldn't shake the thought of Jake and his quiet kindness. She called the shop again under the excuse of needing her car serviced, but what she really wanted was to see him. When she arrived, Lucy was there, too, helping her dad hand customers their keys and smiling shilly at everyone. Rebecca watched them interact. How gentle Jake was with his daughter. How even when he looked exhausted, he still found time to joke with her, to make her laugh. It stirred something deep in her chest that she hadn't felt in years. After that, she started stopping by more often. Sometimes she'd bring coffee or drop off lunch for the team, though there was no Diem, just Jake. She told herself it was gratitude, but it was more than that. It was healing. One afternoon, she found Lucy sitting outside the shop drawing with chalk on the pavement. "Hi there," Rebecca said with a smile. "What are you making?" "A house," Lucy said, "with a garden and a big window so my dad can see the sky while he works." Rebecca's throat tightened. "That's beautiful." Lucy looked up. "He works too much," Booth says. "One day we'll have a real house like this, not the tiny one." Rebecca crouched down beside her, suddenly overwhelmed by emotion. That night replayed in her head. The rain, the stranger who wouldn't walk away, the little girl sleeping in the back seat. She realized she couldn't just say thank you anymore. She wanted to do something. The next morning, Jake walked into work to find the shop's owner waiting for him with wide eyes. "Jake," he said, "you won't believe this. Some big shot company just paid off the lease on this whole place. Said it's now under new management and they want you running it." Jake blinked, thinking it was a joke. But when he stepped outside, he saw Rebecca standing there holding coffee, smiling nervously. "I hope you're not mad," she said. "I heard you've been keeping this place running for years. Thought you deservito own it." Jake shook his head stunned. "Rebecca, I can't accept that." "Yes, you can," she said softly. "You taught me something that night. You reminded Medhat kindness isn't weakness. It's strength. You didn't walk away from me when I was at my worst. Now I'm just returning the favor." Jake's eyes filled with tears. He didn't bother to hide. "You didn't have to do this." "I know," she said. "That's the point." Months passed. The shop became a thriving local business. Jake hired help, started saving for that house Lucy had dreamed about, and Rebecca became a regular visitor, not just as a friend, but as someone who'd become family. On weekends, she'd join Jake and Lucy at the park. Lucy adored her, calling her Becca, and Rebecca would laugh like she hadn't in years. She'd been a woman who once thought money and power could fix everything. But it took one act of kindness from a stranger to show her what truly mattered. One evening, as the sun dipped low and the air turned golden, Rebecca turned to Jake. "You know, I meant it when I said those words at night." Jake chuckled. "Which words?" "The ones where you called me an idiot." She smiled. "Yeah, but I was wrong about the rest. You weren't the idiot. I was for thinking I didn't need anyone." Jake looked at her for a long moment and said quietly, "We all need someone, Rebecca. Even when we think we don't. Kindness doesn't ask who you are or what you've done. It doesn't calculate what it'll get in return. It just shows up, sometimes in the form of a stranger on a rainy night, sometimes in the smallest acts that change lives forever." Jake never meant to save anyone. He just refused to walk away. And in the end, that choice didn't just rescue a drunk CEO. It rescued both of them. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to subscribe to Truth Lines USA for more stories that remind us what truly matters in this world. Empathy, courage, and love. Hit like. Share this with someone who needs a little hope today and tell us in the comments when was the last time someone's kindness changed your